Exclamation, everybody, and welcome to Final Theory. It's by Montecube, and it is fully released. It came out on September the 21st, and it's currently $15 US out on Steam. And it's a turn-based strategy game, but it's pretty much baby's first strategy game, kind of. You'll see it's very simple mechanics, although it does lend itself to a very extensive game, and there's some strategy that involved as well. So since it is going to be a very long game, without further ado, let me just jump in now. I do have a game ongoing, but I will start from the beginning again because I kind of understand it now a little bit better, and I might get a little bit faster start, say. So you get to choose your color. I'll just be blue, so I know what I'm doing. And I'm going to go on proficient level. There's proficient is like normal, and then master and expert are hard and very difficult. And you got other levels down below, but proficient seems like my speed. So let's just begin. Due to the continuing decline in technium production, the Empire has declared the Outer Rim territory as a lost cause. Without this vital resource, millions of colonies will be cut off from space and inevitably regress to a more primitive state of being. The Empire considers such systems as dead space, only deemed valuable as potential sites to harvest the stars for technium. Every quadrant of the galaxy is preparing for civil war, desperate to sustain their way of life by any means necessary. The archives speak of an old research project conducted at the height of the Empire's prosperity. A weapon capable of harvesting all the stars at the center of the galaxy. Enough technium for eons to come. Obtaining this research data has now become the last hope for the colonies. The name of this project was... Can anyone guess? Final Theory. So as you see, we start out in this spiral galaxy on one of the arms. And there are very, very many stars, friends. Very, very many stars. So it is turn-based, so I have all the time in the world to kind of explain what's going on here, but the more important things, down on the right-hand side here, you can see stats. These are the stats of all the factions in the game. We're the blue faction, obviously, and then there's a yellow, and then a green and a red faction. There's also like this, I guess it's the yellow faction, I don't know. I kept running into one of the factions that's kind of spread out all over the place. I don't know if they're just NPCs or what, but they're, there's a couple different factions at work here, and obviously the goal is to beat the other factions. But to do so, you need to get, I think it's 6,000 Final Theory data points, and that unlocks the Final Theory warhead, which then you have to then travel to the center of the galaxy, fire off the warhead, and you've now won the game. Obviously, along the way, you're going to run into lots of issues. Now, the game does have a help menu that pops up normally when you first play the game. I've already been through it, so it's not popping up now. And I don't know actually if I can bring it up. Yeah, here we go, help guide. So it has this help guide here that normally pops up for you, and it's got a lot of different topics and stuff, and it's good. This is, those of you who followed me enough know how I feel about tutorials and help guides. I am very much of the show me, don't tell me mindset, And so when I see help guides, there's three different things that I've seen games do. One is they just toss you in and they don't give you any help at all, which kind of sucks. I mean, that's just like the laziest of the things. Then there's games like this that just kind of just give you a lot of text to read. They're like, here, just read the freaking manual and leave me alone. And that's better than nothing. It's not the most ideal. Honestly, I would rather see a game that just takes like a little bit of time, not a whole lot of time. It doesn't have to be an extensive tutorial. It just has to be enough to say, here's what the hell you're looking at, and here's how it all fits together. And this game, in particular, even though you have all this text to read here, good luck retaining any of this information, by the way. Really, it takes you sitting down and just kind of playing through it for a little bit before you finally start to understand what's going on, because there's stuff going on here that you don't quite capture at the very beginning. Like it does strategy, but it does it in a weird way. And I'll try to explain some of that as I go here. So one of the weird things it has is every faction only gets one move a turn. That's it. You can only move one fleet, one node every turn. That's it. So it means that you have to kind of sit here and kind of look at where you want to go next, because you only get that one movement. You can do other things in the turn, but you only get one fleet movement. And what I found out through trial and error here is, you can see it on the screen right now, all these various nodes. There are some nodes that are more important than others. And for instance, this node here has a circle on it. That means there is something here, a station of some sort. And you really want to get these as soon as possible, because you need stations in order to give you all the resources that you see up at the top of the screen here. These resources are very important, obviously, because it's a strategy game and you're trying to build fleets and other things, but these are really tie into the upgrade system. Most of them tie into the upgrade system, which we'll get into once I have enough stuff to actually upgrade here. Then you've got down here all the actions you can do on each individual node. You've also got your sizes. So max size I can have right now, when you start off, you can have 2 fleets. This is how many fleets I can have. And the fleets can only have a maximum of 2 ships in them right now. As you do things in the game, you unlock a larger fleet. So this one, for instance, every time I get a starport, I can increase my number of fleets by 1. So this is a starport. This is anything with a triangle like this is a starport. So that's why we have 2 here. This max fleet size, this increases by 1 every time we get an enrichment station. An enrichment station looks like this. It's got like the atomic symbol on it. Once you get these, you can start to, every time you get one of those, every time you take over a node that has one of those in it, you can have an additional ship in your fleet. These here are deployment buttons. Now, right now, they're not highlighted because I don't have anything. Like up here, they're highlighted, but down here, they're not highlighted because I can't deploy any more to this node. Each node, every ship that's in a node is considered part of the fleet. So if you move 2 fleets together, they will merge into one fleet, or they'll at least attempt to merge into one fleet. It depends on how big the fleet is. So you can only have 1 fleet per node. So over here, I can't deploy anymore because I've hit the max fleet size. But up here, where I have another node, I can deploy some frigates and stuff. And these are free. These are free actions. So I can just go and deploy a frigate and deploy a destroyer, and bingo bango, we're done there. Also, you have these resource nodes. Now you see here, this is a, you have tachnium deposits is what I should say. These are, anything that looks like a star here is a tachnium deposit. You can look on these other nodes, they all say none. I'm pretty much sure that as long as there's a star looking thing there, you've got a tachnium node there. Now these do deplete over time. You can see this one's got 1,293 resources in it, but you need that, and this like all goes up into your tachnium reserves here. That shows you how much your entire dominion, everything, all the nodes that you have under your control, actually control. How much you can actually harvest, how much you have left to harvest is what I should say, from all the nodes that you currently have under control. This obviously is your resources. This is what you use to build ships with. I'm not sure that it's used for anything else other than just building ships. Constructing ships, I mean. Not deploying ships, just constructing them. You can deploy ships pretty much anywhere as long as it's a node that you can deploy onto. Constructing ships can only happen at one of these starports. Now each of these starports is a different type of starport. This one here has got the dot in it, so that means I can only produce destroyers here. And since I have lots and lots of resources, I have 1,000 resources here, I always tend to just kind of say, go ahead and do it. Now it takes 3 turns, and always takes 3 turns to build every ship in the game. I think every ship is just 3 turns to take, so it takes a little while for these to take effect. Down here you can see this is frigate starport. This starport only produces frigates, so that's where you get out of that. Those things that it produces goes into your cache, I guess you would call it. And you could end up, so they don't automatically deploy from there. They just become part of your fleet that you can just deploy anywhere on any node, right? They're just built, and then they can be deployed anywhere you need them. So you don't have to worry about the position of each of these nodes. You just have to worry that you have them essentially in your inventory. And then of course we got I didn't mention this, but we have the research progress over here. This is telling you basically who's closest to the end of the game and all that stuff. Anyway, we need to move our fleet, and there's 2 possibilities for us. We can go up here with this fleet, or we can go down here with this fleet. I'm gonna try to move up this way a little bit just to see what it looks like towards the center of this galaxy. I'm gonna say move fleet, and I'm gonna tell them to move up here. And we got a development type station, which is good. You can see these icons match up with what's up top here. So development is how many development resources you get per turn. You see I'm getting plus 10 per turn now, because I have this development research station. And this is used to upgrade ship modules. And we'll get into that once I have enough to upgrade a ship module. The other resource that you can gather is engineering. That is, and right now I've got 0 per turn because I don't have any engineering stations yet under my control. That is used to upgrade your ship chassis, basically. Your ship as a whole, I guess. And again, I'll get into that as we go. And then the technium is to actually create the ships, or enriched technium, I'm sorry, is to actually create the ships. And then regular, this technium is what your harvesters are bringing in. So it does take a turn to actually refine your whatever technium your harvesters are bringing in into enriched technium to be used. So there's a little bit of a delay between the harvesting of it and the actual production of technium that you can use. And then the FT data is the final theory research data. This goes up every time you take over a new node, every time you destroy an enemy fleet, and so on and so forth. This goes up from that point, and it gives you like a percentage of how much you need, how much you have before you can get the final theory research together, which is the end game goal. And then this is just a number of regions you control. So a lot of time I've just spent explaining that, and honestly, once you look at it, you realize there's not a whole lot to do each turn. This is why I say it's kind of like baby's first strategy game, because a lot of strategy games will bog you down with, oh, I got 5 moves to do on this thing, and I got 10 moves to do over here, and as the turns go on, you got all these things to kind of keep in your mind. This game kind of makes a very baseline thing. It says you can do 1 move, and you can do like 1 thing at each of these nodes that actually has something to do, and beyond that, it's a whole lot of just move on to the next turn, just burn another turn, those kinds of things. We can deploy a harvester, and I might as well do it down here because having multiple harvesters will help bring in some more stuff for us. You can see there is a salvage fleet. Every 3 turns you can salvage your fleet. You might think to yourself, why would I salvage a fleet? And the answer is, again, you can only move one fleet, one node each turn. So what will happen invariably as you grow and expand, you'll have fleets that are just kind of hanging out here that would need multiple turns in order to get somewhere where they're needed. So you might as well just salvage them, get some resources back from it. You won't get all the resources back, you'll get some back, and just deploy the fleet somewhere else wherever you need it, out on the front lines, that kind of thing. Up here this is like the yellow fleet. These guys are kind of like NPCs almost. I mean, if they're part of the yellow faction, they're very disjointed because you'll see that they're all over the place. Once I start actually attacking and winning against these guys, they'll start popping up all over the place. But basically, these are all nodes that have been taken over by them, and you can see this fleet has 180 power, so I really can't go up against them yet until I get some upgrades to my fleet. My fleet is only 180. You would see, you look at this and you go, oh, they're evenly matched, this should be a good thing, and no, it's not. You're going to get wrecked by them. Until you get some upgrades at least. So I've learned that the hard way. So this node, there's no other node apparently over this way, so we're pretty much landlocked here. I'm going to keep these guys here for now. This is a level 3 guy, so we're definitely not going up there. You can see their fleet is freaking ginormous, 995. So we're definitely not going to touch those guys yet. But this one is a good one to take over. I'm just going to hold on to this node here before I keep this fleet here and then use them to attack that node eventually. These guys don't actually move around the map as far as I can tell. Well, they do move around eventually, but they don't move out of these like nodes that I find them on. If I find a node like this, they just kind of sit there. They do move fleets around, but they don't try to actually necessarily take territory, so to speak. So I'm not too concerned about that right now. So our next turn when we move, we'll probably move down to here and see what that node gives us. And then everything, obviously all these bars are segmented because it tells you how many turns it takes to do certain things. Don't worry about the Technium warhead yet. That is, it has the ability to create a new Technium deposits. This is really late game stuff. This is when you've gone through, you've refined all the Technium in the stars that you found, and now you need to create some more. So that's you don't have to worry about that just yet. That bar will slowly increase though as we do things, but it's not really a necessity early on here, from what I've seen. So that's all we can do for this turn. Then let's move on, and we'll see what the computer's doing. Now, I will tell you that the computer does appear to cheat a bit, because you'll see very quickly, you'll start to see the computer just deploying tons and tons of fleets and suddenly getting all kinds of upgrades and stuff just out of the blue. So the military power seems a little bit even right now, but it actually goes, you actually get really outmatched very quickly. So I have a feeling that that's being kind of jankily manipulated in the background to make the game harder for you based on your difficulty level. Alright, so we're going to move this fleet down here and see what's on this node. Now you might ask, well, why not go to any of these other nodes here? And it's because they don't have a circle over them, so I know that there's no starbase there, which will help me with resources. These will eventually help me. Every time you take over a node, it does help with the FT data, but I'm not that hurting for it right now. I just need stations more than I need nodes at this point. And this station is an engineering station, which is very good. So now we're getting plus 10 on the engineering per turn, so that's good. And I don't have to leave fleets here either. I can just keep on moving on, which is what I'm going to do. Next turn, I'm going to move these guys down this way, and we'll get that rolling for us. We don't have any upgrades yet. These aren't highlighted, so once these buttons are highlighted, I'll talk about the upgrade things. And that's pretty much all we can do. So we're gonna burn it on a turn here. What's interesting is this guy moved up here, and you see his fleet disappeared, and I assume it disappeared because he lost it. There must be another enemy up there that he attacked, like one of these yellow guys. So, otherwise, you do see all the moves that your enemies make, so there's that. Let's move these guys over here. And we've got another development station. That's good. Very good. We also have, it's been 2 turns, so we have another harvester we can put down. So I'm just going to pop another one on here. You can have up to 4 harvesters on a node. So we'll just keep that going. And we've got more nodes here that we can investigate. So that's very nice. The subspace disruptor is, again, it's another more of a late game thing. Well, mid game thing where it's like you disrupt subspace to keep it prevents ships from going into a particular node, whatever node you're launching onto, or leaving that node. So if there's a particularly big fleet somewhere and you don't want to deal with them just yet until you've moved your fleet into position, you can kind of fire a subspace disruptor at it, and it'll keep them there for, I think, 2 to 4 turns, it says. So again, you don't have to worry about that until mid-game. So yeah, I need stuff for increasing my fleets and things, so hopefully we'll get to that soon. But oh, we do have you can see the circle around these things is indicating how close we are to getting another ship created. So it's 3 segments around each of these circles, so you know. It'll also put an arrow above them saying that they're idle and waiting for more things. But we do have enough to upgrade our frigate, it looks like. And here's what our frigate is. And we don't have the 300 engineering resources to upgrade it to Mark II, but we do have enough to do module development. That's why it's highlighted. And we can decrease the shield generator charge time by 1 turn. So you can see here, the shield generators Mark 1 is the shield remains active until all remaining power is drained. Once depleted, the shield generators will recharge. Basically, this means that your ships have shields that are on all the time, but once the shields go down, it takes X number of turns for the shields to regenerate if they go down to 0. So by doing this, I'm actually reducing it down to just 2 segments there, as you can see. So it would only take 2 turns for the shields to regenerate on this guy when we're in combat. So just that's what that kind of means. It's kind of it's not really that ideal of a upgrade anyway. I'm just getting it for the sake of getting it, because the thing that I've noticed, especially throughout this game, throughout the combat in this game, there's a lot of weapons in the early game here that just kind of ignore shields. I mean, they don't ignore them entirely, but they damage the hull directly, and that's kind of infuriating, to where it's just like, why would I upgrade the shields at all when they're not really helping me all that much. But it's just something to know as you're getting in there, as you're getting into this stuff. But did we move? Yeah, we did. All right, so end our turn. Alright, we'll move these guys over here. Let's see what we got for our troubles. We got another starport, which means we have another fleet available to us now. And we can construct a destroyer, which is good. We'll do that. And these guys are available for more construction. get those going. So we got 2 destroyers and a frigate adding to our fleet. And we now have another fleet that we can deploy. So question is, where do I want to do it? So up here, so this is kind of landlocked up here, so there's really no reason for me to go this way yet. That's 160, so that's only 2 frigates. But these guys are only 182, so it's not really going to be that feasible for us to go in there, because 2 frigates is still pretty devastating early on here. So since I have a 3rd fleet, I'm going to deploy a fleet over here, and then that way we can move these guys. We're gonna have to burn a turn to move these guys to one of these nodes to see what else is over here. So I'll probably move them to that one, but we'll do that after I take over this guy here, because we know that this is going to be worthwhile having that node. We got another upgrade available. Oh, we can upgrade to Mark II on our frigates, so let us do that right now. So we've done that, and now I've got 15 points to use against the shields, the armor, and the weapons. So I'm going to up the weapons on this guy a lot. The armor is pretty thin on him. Like I said, a lot of things just kind of ignore shields early on here. I'm going to pump up as much as I can. I'm going to get the maximum on the weapons for these guys, because that is really what you use them for, is just the offensive kinetic guns. Because the destroyer doesn't have kinetic guns, it has just EMP weapons. So the destroyer only really is useful against shields. The EMP weapons do work against the hull, but they're not as efficient as they are against shields. So these guys, your frigates, are really the thing that you want to have as much punch as you can. They're also very thin on the armor, and this is why I say it's kind of frustrating early on, because the frigates do, like the kinetic guns, have a if you upgrade them, they have the ability to bypass, have a portion of their damage bypass the shields and go directly to the hull. So these guys end up, these guys end up getting killed really quickly, because even they just don't have that very good of armor and stuff. So it's not, that's why I wasn't putting so much into the shields and whatnot. But we got that, so that's good. So 380 for that one, and then we don't have any module development available, right? No. This is what I'm looking at right here. The increased shield penetration chance by kinetic guns by additional 15%. I definitely want this. As soon as we get 240 development, I'm going to want that very much so. And then also the 30% extra damage if we can get to 480. So that is on my list of things here. And I think I've done everything I can do. So again, this is one of those things where if you've played a lot of strategy games before, especially node-based ones that are, sci-fi strategy games, you end up spending a lot of time looking around like, well, is there anything else I could do this turn? And you realize, no, there really isn't. So it kind of feels weird where you're like, no, I did 2 things, now let's move to the next turn, and that kind of thing. But you get used to it. You have to put yourself in the mindset of, this is it's not meant to be a very deep, lots of moving pieces on the board. This is the checkers to other strategy games' chess kind of thing. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just something you got to kind of wrap your head around, because they don't really mention that. It's just like, this is a strategy game. You're like, oh, okay. And so if you've played strategy games before, you kind of go in with a set of ideas as to what you're going to encounter, and it can lead to disappointment if you didn't expect it to be this way. Oh, we got another fleet now because I've got another starport, so I'll construct a frigate there. We got another harvester that I can deploy, but we only have that one tachnium deposit so far, which is a bit of a bummer. I don't see anyone else with any tachnium deposits here, so let's get our 4th harvester on there. That's the maximum we can do. I'd rather not waste it, so let's go for it. Let's get that going for us. And the next thing to do would be to start moving this guy over. That'll be the next thing to do. All right, end turn. All right, very good. So let's do that now. Let's move our fleets this way and see what it uncovers. Yeah, another empty node, huh? Well, we can keep on going and seeing what else is out there. Just kind of hoping. You're kind of at the mercy of the RNG at this point. This is what I found the first time around too, is that you can see how these guys are jumping up in military power. They're not jumping up as much as they did the last time I played. But last time I played, I wasn't really getting hardly any good nodes. And so all the AI was getting like tons of great nodes, of research nodes and all that stuff. In the meantime, I'm sitting here like, well, I got nothing. And this is kind of the same, we're kind of going down that same path here where it's very slow going for me, but the AI seems to be having no problem at all with things. So, it is what it is. That move was about all I could do too, so. Go to the next turn. So hardcore strategy people will probably find this frustrating, I would imagine. Because, like I said, you just saw me do literally one thing that turn, which is just move my my fleet around, because that's all I really could do. And there'll be a lot of people who are very into strategy games who are going to look at that and go, ooh, I don't like that. And I can't fault them, because it is a very different way of doing things. All right, well, we have one node that we can get. This one down here. 180 power. Yeah, 192. That's not going to work out well for me. So I can move up here and see what's on this node. We got that going for us. And I'm leaving this fleet here because I'm figuring if I move up here, I can at least see what other nodes this connects to. There's one that I can take over, but right now we're starting to hitting the wall a little bit here. It looks like. So, all right. In that turn. Now, there's one thing I would say. When you have 4 factions like this, it might be really nice if this kind of part of the game where it shows you everything that's going on, if that was kind of streamlined a bit. Showing the actual individual movements is good from a perspective of you're able to see what actually happened. It's easier for you to grok what actually just happened. But when you get into the higher turns, it becomes a very long wait while your stuff is going on. So maybe if they could maybe tighten that up just a little bit, that might be nice. Yeah, wow, we've hit the wall here of where we can go. But this is an engineering station, which is good. We can start getting some upgrades, which will help me get through some of these. Luckily, there's quite a few 1 chevron things here. So obviously the 1 chevron is a little bit easier fleet than the 2 or the 3. So that will inform our decision as to where we're going to go with this. And yeah, so I think the next move we'll make is this fleet up here. That seems reasonable. So onwards. You can see down here the military power, how quickly it's rolling upwards, based on compared to mine. So that's what I was saying, where it's like, yeah, I kind of sort of cheats a little bit, just because based on your difficulty level. This fleet up here. Oof, I am just striking out, man. We got another node there we can take a look at, but I am really strapped here as far as places to go and things to do. We are getting plus 20 on the engineering and development, which I'm going to need. It also means I'm going to have to throw a fleet at one of these other things and see what we can do. Now, when I do those upgrades up here, they actually apply to the entire fleet, so I don't have to worry about did I upgrade this or not. They get all the benefits of the upgrades. So like this is 192 power now, and it's 180, so theoretically I could go after them. This one is 180. This one down here is 160, which actually makes it kind of a more ripe target, I think. So what I'm going to do is deploy a destroyer and a frigate. And I might... It's 192. I might go after them because they are just too small frigates, basically. So they're still dangerous, but not quite as dangerous as having something that targets your shields and whatnot. So that's going to be, and this is going to be our movement for the next move. So we're not going to be able to see any new nodes or anything. Not that there's much to see other than moving up this way. So I think we got everything there. You see the red guys already have, and the green guys already have the ability to have 3 ships per fleet, and these guys have 4 ships per fleet. Well, make that 5 ships per fleet now. Like I said, it's a little bit suspect there, just a little bit. Let's get all our construction queue going. Alright, and then we're going to, I don't have any, I only have 93 tachnium left in our reserve, so we're hurting big time right now. This is probably the worst start I could get. This is far worse than the start I got in the last game. So yeah, it does not go well here. But we are going to move our fleet over here, and we're going to have some combat. And I'm not going to, you can auto-resolve stuff, but I'm not going to do it. I want to show the combat, so, especially since auto-resolve risk is high, and I think I can maybe pull out a victory here if I do it myself. So, confirm. Let's try it. Let's try it. Now, this is turn-based just like everything else. There is a hex grid here. I have the hex grid turned off. Now, the one thing I'll say, it did mention in the help that you can set the facing of your ship when you move it, and I have to kind of call BS on that because honestly, they need an easier. If you can actually set the facing, it needs to be easier than what it actually is. Because here's the thing. These guns and whatnots are, like, the kinetic guns don't have this, but like the EMP guns, look, they're directed. You have to be in a certain arc, and my goodness, is it hard to get your ships to actually face the way you want them to face. And I feel like either I've missed something important, because all it says is when you drag, you should be able to, based on where you are on the hex, you should be able to face your ship that way, and that doesn't seem. It works kind of, but not really. So honestly, I really would rather they gave me a, like, if I could right click on it and say, I want you to face this way or that way, and give me a free move on that. Like every other game of this genre does, that does turn-based stuff like this with directional guns. So that's one part I think they really should go back and fix. Because that's, to me, it seems like a win-win if they just fixed it. But In any case, let's move our guys here. And again, you only get one move per turn unless you have the auxiliary fuel upgrade, which I do have on here, which gives you like 2. But see, here's what I'm talking about. Like, you can see how it's like you can kind of make it go the way you want it to go, but not really. Right? It's like, oh, you can kind of make it turn this way, kinda. But it's very janky the way they've got it implemented here. I definitely want this guy to be over this way and facing that way. And getting shot from behind and everything does actually, I believe you do get more damage and stuff depending on where you're taking damage from. I'm not sure if that's actually the case, but it just seems like that way. So we'll see if that's truly a thing. And then you see this guy's got a shield booster. That's why. He's got EMPs and shield booster. He's basically the healer, kind of, sorta of the team. Unfortunately, this is only for the shields, not for the armor. So I gotta make sure that I keep the armor going well on this guy. So I'm gonna have him stand by, and we're just gonna end our turn. These guys come after me. This is gonna be a rough one, a real rough one. Now the EMP guns and EMP missiles, which take 2 turns to reload, are just go against they don't do any stun effect or anything like that. They just go against the shields. So is he within kinetic guns range? No. I want to have him. I guess I can move forward slightly. I see, like, I want to move over here, but I want to face the other way. It doesn't matter which way I face for the guns on this ship, but still, I want to face that way, and I don't want to go 2 things to do it. You know what I mean? This is why I'm getting at. Like, if you do just move in one hex over, you get all discombobulated and messed up here. So I guess I'll go do this, and kinetic guns. And you see my guns. See, this is what I'm talking about. My guns did more damage to their hull than it did to their shields. This is why it's like having shields on your frigates just doesn't really matter. It's all about the hull on them. So got him there. I guess I'll move my guy up just 1, and then that means I can use my EMP guns on him. Not that it matters. Again, this is the other thing. It's like, I'm using my EMP guns on this guy, but honestly, I did more damage to his hull with his shields up than anything else, so does it matter at this point? You know, I potentially could have 2 destroyers here and maybe still work out well. The reason I have have 2 frigates here and have it work out well. The reason I have a destroyer here is because he does have a shield booster, which the shields do help a little bit, but not a whole lot. So it also makes him, you see how I took more damage from the hull than I did from the shield, so it's like, why even have shields? Look at how much damage this guy did to me with the shield. And I have all these shields, and I can't do anything about it, because it's just... You know what I mean? This is what bothers me a little bit about how the game handles things. Like, I can do the shield booster on this guy. The hell is going to do anything to him? It's really not helping. You know, what this guy needs is a hull booster more than a shield booster. But I can do the EMP guns on this guy. Not that it really matters that much. I can do the EMP missile. Actually, I can't do EMP missiles until I move. Let's move up this way a bit. And then we'll do EMP missiles on... I guess I might as well do them on this guy. Because what I'll do is I'll move this one over here. There's a good chance I'm going to lose this guy anyway. See, that's too far away for the kinetic guns, right? Is it? They go out. They go out 2 on each side. So if I move him up here, I didn't want to do that. I accidentally clicked. Yeah, I'm just outside the range now. Damn it. The number of accidental clicks I make in this game is unconscionable. I've done that a couple times now where I'm like, I just want to move the view up, and then I accidentally click and it makes the move for me. So I wish there was like an undo button, because if there's ever been a need for an undo button, it's right now. Let me tell you that much. That's good. Yeah, target this guy. See, this is where, like, I would be really great if I could just spin around and hit these guys, but it's like I can't turn. See, like, I can't get this guy to turn back this way. You know what I mean? It's like all I want him to do is just sit and spin around this way so I can actually use my EMP guns, and I can't get him to turn. That just bugs me. The combat in this game just kind of bugs me a little bit. So we got our kinetic guns. I can... they didn't really do any damage to this guy too much, did they? But I can use them on him. Or I can use them on him. Doesn't really matter which one at this point. If I use my kinetic guns on him, it's not going to destroy anyone. I'll try it on this guy. Oh wow! Oh wow! My other guy was in the way. I didn't realize that was a thing that would stop them from working. Well, that was a thing. All right. Well, I guess we're coming out this way then. Try to protect this guy a little bit. I'll do some auxiliary fuel and use my main engines again. Get him away from the battle a little bit, and then you are going to move over this way. Kind of put up a little protection there. See, look at that. It's such BS, man. Like there has to be a bug in the game, because the only upgrades I saw was that these guys can get 15% more likely to hit your armor. And that's not... I mean, these guys did nothing but armor damage, so there's something really wrong if that's only a 15% chance. So, anyway, this guy is not really helping me too much anyway here, so I'm just going to go like that, knock his shields down. Which gives me a little bit of a thing that I can maneuver with here. So let's come back down this way. And let's go kinetic guns. So look at that. Like, I got a Mark II against a Mark I and still didn't destroy him outright. EMP missiles. So I can move this way. And I should be able to hit him with my EMP missiles, which at least will... I think that might take his hull down. We'll see. Wasn't enough to destroy him, though. Alright. Does not go well here. Yeah. Yeah. That's certainly a thing. Alright, destroy this guy. And let's move... Actually, it doesn't matter where I move here. Because this guy's going to probably destroy me regardless. I might as well just move in. as well just move in on them because I don't have much of a chance here. Alright, so guns. You can see, like, my guns are doing equal damage to their shields and hull, but their guns, man, oh, they can do anything they want to do. Do anything they put their heart and mind to. So, like I said, I think that this is the other reason why I think that the game, like the AI, cheats, because it can. The rules are not really applying to the AI that apply to me. Yep. So there you have it. That was our first battle. And this is usually what happens on the first battle that I've found in the game. But that said, we have weakened their fleet. So, and they're right next to here, so I can just deploy another fleet and we can go in and just wipe them out. And this time I'll just have it auto-resolve because why not? So it is a legitimate strategy to go in and just weaken the fleets up, but it is a pain in the neck. It's quite the pain in the neck to go through that. But I think that's all we can do this turn. They have 6 guys in their fleet now. They have a fleet size of 6. That's just crazy. Look how early we are in the game, and the military power on them, they can have six guys in their fleet. It's just very, very strange things going on here, in my opinion. All right, let's move them up here, and let's just do an auto-resolve. Bam! Alright, and then that opened up another node over there. That's good. We can also... This is 2 dots on it, so we can construct cruisers now. That's another starport, which means we now have another fleet available to us. We haven't increased our fleet size yet, though, because we haven't found another resource node yet, which is a bit disconcerting, because we have depleted all the resources available to us. So, fun times abound. That's 180, that's 180. We do have an upgrade available for the frigates. We have yes. Increase our penetration chance, please. Do that. Should help a little bit, hopefully. Not much else I can do besides throw some fodder at the enemy here. We got 180 there, right? So 94. So I might throw. Well, we do have this over here, so at least we'll do this next turn. Anyway, we'll have that going for us. All right, let's end our turn. Okay, hopefully this is a resource node because I need some. It does have some technium on it. Good. Alright, let's deploy a harvester there immediately. Alright, and it's engineering, which is good, so we can start getting some upgrades a little bit faster here, hopefully. Another node over there that's not anything, but it might show us another pathway forward. But honestly, I think my next move will be to auto-resolve a conflict here and just... I'll probably lose this fleet, but at least I'll knock them down a notch. And I can deploy more to here. I can deploy an additional fleet there as it becomes necessary to do so. off on constructing ships right now because I don't have, well, no, I can, no, you know what, I have some resources coming in, so let's just do it. Let's keep constructing things. We have stuff going here. I can get another harvester and another turn there. Is there any upgrades I can do before I send these guys off to their deaths? No? Alright, let's do this. Auto resolve. Oh, we made it. Even with the auto resolve, although we only have one ship left. The one frigate left. But that's cool. That was actually a resource node too. Awesome. That's what I needed to see. That's what I needed to see in my life, and we do have an upgrade available now because of that. So I can upgrade the destroyer to Mark II. So let's do that. Alright, let's get its weapons up some more. Armor. And the shields. Okay. Very nice. So that's good. So we get a harvester next turn, so I'll put a harvester up here now that we have another resource node. And I'll move this fleet over here and do the same thing. Let's see if we can take that over. I guess I could... I have another fleet available to me. I guess I could get another one going down here. So let's get a cruiser, I guess. I guess I could send a cruiser because then this is only 180 power there, so it'll be a little bit more power there. Plus I can get, oh yeah, that's right, I can get a fleet size of 3 now, so I can have all 3 of them in there. Because I opened up another resource node. Right. Really, it should be, yeah, 3. Yeah, that makes sense. I thought, it's interesting. You start out at 2, but then you don't go up to 3 until you've got the second. Oh, that's because that's not a thing, right? Okay, never mind. Never mind. This is correct. Everything is correct. Yeah. So, yeah. So we're now 3 there. We have 3 in each fleet. So since that's the case, let's put another one. I don't have another one over here that I can deploy. I wonder why. Oh, it doesn't have a starport. I can only deploy on a starport. That's right. That's right, I forgot. Okay. So we got these guys here. We'll move those down eventually. In the meantime, yeah, when you have another node up here too, that might be interesting once we get to there. But I think we're good. So, construct a frigate, construct a cruiser, and I have a harvester now. Let's deploy a harvester up there. And let's throw these guys. There's no upgrades available. Okay, let's throw these guys at this one here. Oh, successful, and it's a starport, even better. So we have 6 fleets that we can do, and we open up a node that we can take a look at without fighting over. So that's working out well now. Now let's construct a cruiser there. Okay. So with all that said, I guess I don't need this fleet here. Let's salvage that fleet. Because that's not doing anyone any good, any favors right now. I'm going to probably come at these guys from this angle. I mean, I guess I could have thrown them at this one here, but I can deploy a fleet from here actually. In fact, I'm going to do that. Because we're going to send them up here, take this over, and then see what other nodes are up there. I think that's the better Well, obviously I want to move them up here too, because it's an easy one to take over. And then we'll have to burn 2 turns to get over there, but that's fine. Okay. In this turn, you can see how it kind of, once you get into the flow, you start burning turns really quickly. But it is a very, very long, drawn-out game. It's not like a short, like 20-minute, 30-minute skirmish here. You're going to be going on for quite a while. So let's go move these guys. Actually, you know what? Let's deploy the full fleet there. Let's move them up to here. Aha! Another resource node. Excellent. Now we can have a fleet of 4. And then there was 4. And then there's another node up there that we can take. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Alright, let's well, I'll salvage this fleet once I get. You can only do it every 3 turns. Still want to take this one over too to see what's over here, so I might take that over first before I move them up there. But it's good to see. We got things going for us now. Alright. Let's move along. These guys aren't expanding as fast as they were in the first game that I played, so it's kind of interesting. Alright, construct. We have an upgrade available, so I should do that before I fight. Let's see, engineering, micro jump drive time by 1. Yeah, let's do that. Let's commission that, get that done. Get her done. We need a lot more engineering things, though. I do have another harvester to deploy, so let's go up here and do that. On that node. Just unlocked. And send these guys up here. We'll auto-resolve. Ooh, another resource node. Awesome. So now we can have 5 ships per fleet. Fantastic. Now we're starting to get into a groove. I want to move them up there next turn, so let's go do that. Alright, more things to be constructed. And we need one more turn before we can get another harvester. I'm going to salvage that fleet there. We won't need it. Up here, we're going to move them up to this node. Cool, engineering. That's exactly what I need. And it's got resources too. Man, I'm suddenly resource rich here. We went from 0 available to us to 3,187 available to us. And not enough harvesters to go around. So that is good. What else here? We got, this guy is 540, that fleet. What's this one? 540 as well. Cruiser, 3 frigates and a destroyer. What does that give me? 539. That's 540. Okay. That'll be an interesting matchup. But I could toss them out there and then have another fleet here. Alright, that's 557, that fleet. 540. Ooh. That might be the good fleet to throw at them first. And just take that node over. Because I'm assuming since it's got 2 chevrons, it's probably a more... probably a sexier node. Probably a sexier node than the rest that we've come across. Let's do one more turn. And see what we come upon. I can see the yellow guys now. This is what happened before too. The yellow guys are starting to deploy fleets now, which they didn't have before. So that's why I said, like, you get to, I guess it's turn 18 when we get to, and they start to actually have fleets that can move around. So just kind of a late game faction that comes into play. Let's go and see what we do over here. Oh, lost the entire fleet, but they're down to 350. All right. Got it. So one more shot at them ought to do it. We have a harvester that we can deploy, so let's do that over there on one of the new ones. One over there that needs a harvester. But we're good otherwise. All right, let's go to turn 20, and then we'll call it once I get to turn 20, or once I get to turn 20, we'll call it. Alright, very good. We can construct another destroyer. We need to have lots of ships out here now that I've burned off quite a bit. So it's 539. This is 524. Alright, let's send these guys down here. There we go. And that gives us a carrier that we can construct. Once we have the resources for it. We don't have enough resources for it. We only have 133 resources. A carrier takes, what is it, 450? So that's why it's not letting us do that right away. But that gives us also another additional fleet that we can have in our possession. So that's good. And it's 540 there, and then this is a 970 guy there. Alright, so that's good. So we got plenty of expansion possibilities. I need one more turn for a harvester. Did I move a fleet yet? Yeah, I did. Okay. I think the next thing will be to take this guy out down here. Possibly. Yeah, possibly do that. We're kind of hitting our upper limit on these other things. So, yeah, I'll probably have this fleet. That'll take 2 turns to get there. So we're not going to see it here, but at least let's get to turn 20 anyway. So that was one of those bombs I was talking about that actually stops a fleet from moving, the subspace disruptor. That's what you saw being used there. And I probably should hold off. Start frigate. I should probably hold off on constructing anything else until I can construct a carrier here, because we're behind on harvesting. So let's go deploy a harvester up here. Yeah, I got a lot of resources to harvest and not a lot going into my construction of things. I think we're good there. Yeah, let's move this fleet down here. There we go. We still get a little bit of engineering and stuff, you know, for taking that node, but nothing to write home about. We do have some upgrades available. This is our frigates. This is our destroyers Mark II. Our Cruisers Mark 1, antimatter torpedoes. Let's commission an upgrade of that guy and give it as much firepower as we can muster. There we go. And then there's some engineering upgrades, I think. No, not enough resources for that. I thought I saw it. No, I guess we don't have enough development resources yet for anything. Okay. That's fine. But where are we at? We're actually doing a lot better on military power than I did the first time around. My bar was like this big, and everyone else's bar was halfway down the line last time I did this. So that's pretty good. We're holding even on all that. Our research progress is continuing. We've got actually 4% of the data. I had only 2% last time around, so 4% here. So we're doing 4% of our way towards the victory condition. So we're doing quite nicely. I'd say quite nicely, but I am going to stop it there at turn 20, as we have been going on for quite a while here. And this, my friends, has been Final Theory. It is by, it is by Montecube, and it is currently fully released out on Steam for $15 US. As always, I will leave links down in the description so you can do your own due diligence. I personally find it to be a pretty good game, but I've always been kind of a strategy light guy. Like I've never really gotten into very hardcore strategy games, so to me this feels good in that I don't have to have so much crap in my brain every turn. I don't feel like every turn is like a a chess match where you're trying to manage 15 different variables. But again, if you're hardcore into strategy, it's probably a little bit beneath you. But again, I think I like it, and it's good based on what I kind of like. So there you have it, friends. Thanks so much. Did I say, as always, I'll leave links down in the description so you can do your own due diligence. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.